Hi, and welcome to Soul Centered. My name is Ariella Halevi, and I am the co-founder of Soul Centered, along with my husband Baruch Halevi, who's coming. We are a Denver-based and also a virtual online center for loss, meaning, and healing for anyone and everyone that has the desire to center their souls and to find their pathway to their life's purpose. And we get there through different pathways, through loss, meaning, and healing, but ultimately we meet in the middle, which is the soul. And this has been a lifelong dream of Baruch and mine. We were the rabbi and rebbitzin of two different large congregations for many years, and we have come together to fulfill our life's purpose and our soul to help as many people as we can to come together, to center their souls, to find their space. We offer this service today, this soul experience, as a Kabbalistic experience based in Kabbalah, but also a service, a center, a place to come and center yourself. No matter your religion, no matter what you're going through, we are here for you. And we simply take those Kabbalistic roots and reach out to whoever is open to listening and wanting more. Today we're going to talk about this idea of Netzach. So for 49 days, we are counting the time between Passover and Shavuot. Shavuot is the receiving of the Torah. And during this time, it is a self-introspection. It's a deep look inside of ourselves. In Hebrew, it's called the midot. It's basically looking at the places inside of ourselves, our behaviors, our qualities that we want to shed light upon to make certain changes in our lives. During Passover, we have this idea of freedom. And freedom is this beautiful opportunity that needs to be cultivated. And the counting the Omer is an awareness of what needs to be explored inside of us. So we're going to explore today this idea of Netzach. Netzach meaning endurance. And so we'll really dive into that more today. But this idea that what we go through, what we want to create in our lives, what we want to aspire to, needs runway. Right? So when we feel like life is never going to change, things are never going to be different. Netzach, this energy of Netzach takes us and says, keep going and look at the longer vision. Look at where you're headed, look at your goal. So we will start with this energy of Netzach, of this intention of just really cultivating an awareness of our goals, our aspirations, our loves, what we want to aspire to, and then give it a long runway. So we will start with just one word, shalom, bringing peace into our hearts, unless you want to say something.
I don't think there's anything more I can say other than I am also the IT guy. So if you have any technology challenges, let us know on the comments side, and you can get the soul sheet, which is the sheet with simple words, prayers, chants, some reflections. You can get that on the comments side or in the experience description. There's a couple links on our Soul Centered Facebook group, Facebook page, but that's pretty much all you need. That, an open mind and a loving heart, which you have because you found your way to Soul Centered.
So let's begin by taking a deep breath in and closing the eyes for a moment and just coming into your space. So creating this holy space, creating this vessel of community, of love, of open-heartedness. Just opening your body, softening your body, softening the hard places inside of us that have a hard time releasing and relaxing. And then let peace come into your mind and your heart with one word, shalom. 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 And another deep breath in as you breathe in shalom, peace, inviting more peace into our bodies, into our experience, into our lives. As we travel into the next song, the next prayer, Hine Matov, Lord, prepare me. We open to this idea that community is so important. A community of souls, a community of beautiful people searching for the same thing, ultimately to center ourselves. And so we just open to this idea of people far and near to create community, to create friendships, to create support systems as we go through the period of looking towards the vision. Sometimes we get stuck in the details, and so we need that support to hold us. So imagine being held by your support system. Oh Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you. Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad Hine Matov Umanayim Shevet Achim Gam Yachad. O Lord, prepare me to be a sanctuary, pure and holy, tried and true, and with thanksgiving, I'll be a living sanctuary for you.
So we continue with this idea of Netzach. Again, if you just joined us, we're taking the Sfirot, the Kabbalistic tree of life. You should Google it and just kind of have a picture of it. Sometimes the Kabbalists, the mystics, would just meditate on the picture itself. But it's the divine emanations, 10 of them. And so we look at them as kind of a trickling down of God's presence into our world, into our lives. And so on the journey from Passover to Shavuot, to Pentecost, as my Christian friends call it, we take each one of those midot, each one of those qualities, the divine attributes, and we embody them every week on this journey, the lower seven, so 7 weeks of 7, and you get to 49, which is then the holiday of Shavuot and Pentecost. But the bottom line is this week we're on Netzach, which means endurance, which means being in it for the long haul. And really we'll be exploring that today. But as we do, we think about modeh, modah. The words are on your page, but gratitude as a way to fuel ourselves to be in it for the long haul. When you're out in the grocery stores and you feel a sense of despair and sorrow, right? To cultivate this idea of modah, of gratitude, of just saying thank you for not what's missing on the shelves, but what's still present on the shelves and so forth. Modah on your handouts.
Modeani
lefanecha ruach chai v'kayam.
Modeani
lefanecha
ruach
chai
v'kayam. Modeani
lefanecha ruach chai v'kayam.
Modeani
lefanecha ruach chai v'kayam. Feeling that gratitude well up into this Rabba emunatecha. 2 simple words. Rabba means much. Emunatecha means amen, right? Faith.
Rabba
Emunatecha Rabba, Emunatecha Rabba, Emunatecha, Munatecha Rabba, 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 emunatecha Rabba, emunatecha Rabba, emunatecha, munatecha.
And so we travel into Elohai Neshama, this beautiful prayer of thanking God or imagining an individual that was placed inside of us is pure. And how do we express that soul? Through our bodies, right? We were given this beautiful emanation of God in our physical form. And so I invite you to move in a way that awakens your body, because our soul is in there. And so the invitation is to sway or clap or get up and shake your body and just really become alive in your body, remembering that there is more to us than what you see. There is a spiritual, soulful being inside of us. And that is the purpose of why we're here, to remember that we are whole. So, Elohai Neshama. Hey ya, hey, hey ya, hey, hey, hey ya, hey ya, hey, hey Neshama Shenatata Bi Shenatata Bi Tehorai Eo Elohai Eo Elohai Neshama Shenatata Bi Shenatata Bi Tehorai Hey ya Hey hey ya Hey hey ya Hey ya Hey hey ya Hey hey ya Hey ya Hey hey ya Hey hey ya.
So, again, following on our theme of Netzach, of endurance and resilience, listening to the words of Harriet Beecher Stowe, of course, a famous American abolitionist who wrote, "When you get into a tight place and everything goes against you till it seems as though you could not hang on a minute longer, never give up, for that is just the place and time that the tide will turn." And thinking about the idea of resilience, endurance, perseverance, Brichrachamana is this chant of just drawing upon what my mentor Dr. Viktor Frankl calls the defiant power of the human spirit, right? It's deep within each and every one of us. And so Brichrachamana is an opportunity to tap into the defiant power of the human spirit.
Brichrachamana Malke De'alma Malre Dehai Nishima Brichrachamana Malke De'alma Malre Dehai Nishima Brichrachamana Malke De'alma Malre Dehai Nishima Brichrachamana Malke De'alma Malre Dehai Nishima. You are the source of life for all that is, and your blessings flow through me. You are the source of life for all that is, and your blessings flow through me. Brichrachamana Malke De'alma Malre Dehai Nishima Brichrachamana Malke De'alma Malre Dehai Nishima. Source of life for all that is, and your blessings flow through me. You are the source of life for all that is, and your blessings flow through me. You are the source of life for all that is, and your blessings flow through me. Hi, Kathy. Thanks for joining us.
And thanks for sharing. Love to hear comments on the side. I can't see who's on unless you comment. So just every once in a while, just give us a little shout and tell us you're there and what's on your mind, what's in your heart, what's in your soul.
So as we continue with our next prayer, our chant, Ashrei, this is an invitation to remember that cultivating inner joy during times of Netzach, during times when we need to endure, especially during this time of a difficult period when we are surrounded by the four walls of our home, when we want to go outside and live our lives, and when we need to endure, when we need to see that it's not a race, It's not fast, it's a process, that life is a process. And if we take this idea of Ashrei, we can remember that the inner cultivation of joy. I don't really see it as happiness, I see it as inner joy. That inner joy is possible in a room alone with nothing but you and four walls. That it is a cultivation from the inside out of resiliency to build the inner joy. So let's take that kavanah, that intention, as we go into Ashrei. Ashrei Yoshvei Betecha Oria Hallelujah Oria Hallelujah 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 Ashrei Yoshvei Betecha Oria Hallelujah Oria Hallelujah. When we travel into our next chant, our next prayer, Olam Chesed, written by Rabbi Menachem Creditor, we open to this idea of resiliency. If we want to build the world with love, build ourselves with love, we have to see through the hard times, the struggle, the feeling of quitting, of wanting to quit. Building the world with love takes endurance and patience and resiliency. And so we breathe in this quality of savlanut, patience, and feel it travel through your whole being and your whole body as we begin our prayer. Olam Chesed Yibaneh Yererai Rai Rai Yererai Rai 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 I will build this world from love. Yadadai, dai, dai, yadadai, dai. And you must build build this world from love. Yada-da-da-da, yada-da-da. And if we build this world from love, yada-da-da-da, yada-da-da, then God will build this world from love. Yada-da-da, yada-da-da. Olam chesed ibaneh. Yada-da-da-da, yada-da-da. Olam chesed ibaneh. Yada-da-da, yada-da-da. And just like a river flows, we flow with the river of our prayers, our words, our voice, our song, into Nishmat Kol Chai, written by Joey Weisberg. A tune almost with no words. A tune and the invitation of the tune to come into your soul. That every soul is here to discover wholeness, who they are, to discover the divine within themselves. And so breathe into the divine, beautiful wholeness of your soul, opening your heart center to Nishmat Kol Chai. Yada-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da. Yada-da-da-da-da. 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 Nishmat Kol Chai, Tivarech et Shimcha, Hashem, Hashem, Eloheinu. Nishmat Kol Chai, Tivarech et Shimcha, Adonai Eloheinu. Yada-da-da-da, yada-da-da, 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 yada-da-da. Taking a deep breath in and a long breath out, relaxing your body, releasing the mind and coming into your body, into your heart, into your neshama, your soul. As we travel into the next part of our service, am I awake? As we move into a personal service and travel into more of a communal sense of the Amidah, of communal prayer, and just asking ourselves, am I awake in this moment? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Are you listening to my prayer? Can you hear my voice? Can you understand? Am I awake? Am I prepared? Yada-da-da-da, 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 nine-nine, yada-da-da-da, yada-da-da-da. Traveling into the Shema. So opening our heart centers into this prayer of listening, of feeling the still small voice inside of us. As we gather in, perhaps you place your hand over your eyes and begin opening your heart, your prayers, your mind, your soul to the Shema. One breath with one word. Shema. Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad.
You just joined us. We're in the middle of our service. Welcome to everybody. To Barb, thank you for comments. We'd love to hear from you on the side, so please let us know you're there. It's really the only way I can see you. Welcome to Bro and Amy, our regulars. And so we continue on this journey of this prayer service, and we have the traditional words. We're trying to do as much as we can in English. Some things we have English for, some we don't, but we always encourage you just to kind of chant, to hum. It's a Hasidic mystical practice, just to kind of chant words, sounds without words, yananai, ai. And so you can always really just kind of adapt it into any language or no language, because at the end of the day, it's the language of your heart. As we continue to really open up and stand up, you can either stand up. The challenge is if we stand up, at least my head is out of the shot. And so we're just sitting, and that's fine too. I believe deeply it's more about an inner posture than an outer posture. It's called the Amidah. It's kind of the central prayer in the Kabbalistic Saturday morning experience. But we just really use the first line of it to open up our mouth, to open up our hearts, the words on your soul sheet, which you can download on the side.
Ufi yagid tehilatecha.
Find the words of your heart, or you can just take these words of Saint Francis into your prayers. Lord, make me an instrument of your peace. Where there is hatred, let me sow love. Where there is injury, pardon. Where there is doubt, faith. Where there is despair, hope. Where there is darkness, light. Where there is sadness, joy. Grant that I may not so much seek to be consoled as to console, to be understood as to understand, to be loved as to love. For it is in giving that we receive, it is in pardoning that we are pardoned, and it is in dying that we are born to eternal life. And we'll take a few moments just to kind of sit and let these words or your words of your heart absorb into your life.
Oh, say shalom bimroma. Uya say shalom aleinu. Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru. Imru. Amen. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu, ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh shalom, Yaseh shalom, Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael.
So we'll study, have a conversation together. At least I never have a conversation without first having a conversation of the heart. It's a Kabbalistic practice to chant. And so simple words, it's on your sheet, you can just listen. It's also call and response, kind of coming from the Kirtan tradition. So it's called Earth and Sky. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Mother, Father Sky,
Father Sky,
heat of fire, drop of water, I can feel it in my body, in my spirit, in my soul, yeah. Mother, Father Sky, heat of fire, drop of water, I can feel it in my body, in my spirit, in my soul. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, 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 ho. Hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey ya, hey. We'll try with the Hebrew, just follow response. Here we go. Ready? Adama, Vishamai, Chom ha'esh, Slil ha'mayim, Ni margis zod begufim, Beruchim benishmati. One last time. Mother Earth, Father Sky,
Father Sky,
heat of fire,
heat of fire,
drop of water,
drop of water.
I can feel it in my body, in my spirit, in my soul. I love that chant because it's more of a chant than a song, and it takes us into something that's missing in the Jewish tradition, the way it's oftentimes normative Judaism traditionally practiced, which is a kind of a primal connection, connection to body, to earth, to Mother Nature, Shekhinah. And so one of the reasons I turn to Kabbalah is because I think it is very much intertwined in all those things, and we've kind of lost it in our intellectual Western interpretation. And I believe that if we can reclaim it, which is authentic Judaism, we can reclaim a pathway back for so many. And it's not about being Jewish, it's about being connected, it's about being soul-centered. And that's what we do now, talking about a conversation, a theme. Traditionally, Jews will read from the Torah, and we're not reading from the Torah. We're taking a theme that's either Torah, relevant to the Torah or the calendar. And in this particular case, it's the calendar. If you just joined us, we're really on the journey from Passover to Shavuot, from the holiday of Passover to Pentecost for Christians. It's 7 weeks of 7, 49 days, and that 49 is symbolic of transformation. Kabbalah 7 is the mystical creative number, and 7 times 7 is exponential creation. And so we create during this time inward creation, and we go through the qualities of God in our lives, the Kabbalistic qualities. And this week we're on the quality of Netzach, which is the quality, as Ariel has been talking a lot about, endurance and perseverance and resilience. And so these are the qualities that we want to really kind of explore right now. Let me just really kind of begin, and then Ariel is going to jump in with an idea of endurance from the Torah portion. So this Torah portion is called Acharei Mot, and it's after the death of Aaron's sons, tragic death. And we oftentimes really focus on Aaron and his powerful response of sitting in silence, and we get this this really important message and teaching of silence in the face of a death of a loved one, because oftentimes that's the only appropriate response. Explaining the death, comforting somebody with words, or explaining them from theological terms is never helpful. And so just sitting with them in silence and being in silence. But we also leave out Moses. You know, Moses was told to deliver this news of tragedy to his brother, and these are his nephews, so it's personal as well. And Moses comes to represent in Kabbalah Netzach, this idea of endurance or carrying a burden, right? And thinking about the burden that would place, that you've probably had placed upon you, I've had placed upon me, to deliver tragic news to somebody. And the Hebrew word for burden is sovel, suffering, but it's also the word for patience, right? And thinking about Moses as the embodiment of the ability to carry suffering, right? Patience, to carry suffering. I like the explanation of patience way better as I'm carrying suffering. That's what it means to be patient, to hold it, to carry it. And sometimes we do it for ourselves, sometimes we do it for another. And I think about really Moses' role in that situation of carrying the suffering, delivering the news, holding the space, right? Being in it for the long haul, especially around grief and loss. It's too easy to show up and to disappear. You know, true friends, true compatriots, fellow travelers on the road are there for the marathon, as Ariella talked about, not the sprint. And that's endurance, and that's Netzach, and that's Moses.
I like to think of this time, it's May 2nd today, and it's spring. And so when I think of Netzach, I think of this time of growth. It's a time of looking at the long road ahead of us and saying this is an opportunity for growth, for rebirth, for checking in with our visions, with where we're going. And it's this energetic. Yesterday I was a part of a meditation called Beltane. May 1st is Beltane. I won't get into it, but Beltane is this idea. in spring to look at where you're going to create your life. Spring is all about creation. And then Netzach takes it deeper and says, okay, this is what you want to create. Now you have to run the marathon, you have to take the long haul to get there. I think about, if you think about times in your lives when you had to endure, you think about the time now during our quarantine where the quarantine in some places are being lifted. And then I talked to a friend yesterday in Massachusetts where he said there is zero, he's having no experience of the quarantine being lifted. And there's this impatience that the energy is of right now in this world of, we need to get outside, we need to get back into our lives, let's rush back. And so you can take this beautiful idea from the Parsha and from our tradition and put it right into the center of what we're dealing with right now. Where are you on this race? Where are you? Are you rushing back in, or are you taking footsteps to go back out? And I think about personally in our lives, when we have all had struggles where we had to endure pain, endure the suffering, endure the unknown. Really, it's the unknown. We had a struggle for a few years with one of our children, and we had to endure and see his highest self, what he was going to be down the road versus where he was in the moment. And it was really this idea, I've been sitting with this all morning, it was this idea of Netzach. Could we endure the pain and loss and suffering that we were all going through to see our child in his highest, most beautiful self? And I'm happy to say that has helped us grow in a marriage, in a relationship, and in the relationship with our children, that we stuck it out and saw him through a difficult time. So this idea of Netzach is asking yourself not only inside of your own personal spiritual path of resiliency and patience, but also for those that you love and for the world. Can we see it through?
Just a little bit slight different direction. Hi, Stu. Thank you. It's a beautiful way to enter Shabbat with you as well, and John and Justin. Thanks everybody for joining us. Love to hear your comments on the side. Another perspective of Netzach, which means the long view, right, as opposed to the short view. And I think of it, when I'm counseling people around loss, in particular death, but not only death, but especially with death. And I get into a conversation with them always about, it's from Kabbalistic practice called Hitbonenut, which means clarifying. And really, Byron Katie kind of picked up on it, and she asked, is it true, right? Is it true that your loved one is dead? And in the short term, seems true to the eyes. It appears true. But when you take a step back, and this is the work of grieving, right? And seeing all that was, all that is still here, your loved one's presence, the memories, the feelings you have, the voice, the smell. 15 years later, I can still smell my father and feel his scratchy beard. That's all alive and well within me. And then starting to think about, and I don't know what's next, right? I'm here now. I can't know what's next. I believe that there's something more, that our soul comes from somewhere here and it's going somewhere. So taking the long Netzach, eternity, is another word for it, as opposed to just right here, right now, which is next week. And that's an important thing too, to be here, to be now, to feel your pain and your feelings, but also to back out and see a bigger picture, which is what Ariel, you're talking about with our son.
Right.
Right. In the moment, it felt like it's over. We can't save him. And then the harder we've worked, we've backed out and we've seen a macro view. And we've seen, that was a moment in time. But the longer picture is there's possibility.
Right. And if you're going through healing, if you're going through loss, if you're going through an illness or something that you feel that so frustrated or so broken about and you can't get through in the moment, we invite you to look at the longer path. And that is the path ultimately of resiliency. I think that this whole idea of Netzach is to strengthen the muscle of resiliency, because we are a society that wants things to happen now, and we want to know the answers now. We are impatient by nature. We're human beings. And so this idea of Netzach is, like Baruch said, it's taking the long vision versus the short. And that is building the muscle of resiliency. We spent 3 years in Israel wondering if our son would be okay. We had to look at the long picture. We had to get out of the micro and look into the macro. And really, if you think about Netzach, Netzach is placed at the lower part of the body. So it's on the right side lower. In the past few weeks, we've been focusing on the Sefirot of the upper realms. Chesed and Gevurah, love and strength and balance, is the emanations of God in our life. It is our intuition. It's our pathway where God is open, or the divine, the Shekhinah is open to come into our earthly bodies. But Netzach is all physical. It's like, okay, you're here on this earth, and if you think about the chakras, for those of you that know about the chakras, the lower chakras, including Netzach and the Sefirot, are all about safety, security, physicality, our physical bodies. So it makes sense that Netzach is really about enduring.
So this is why we work well together. We come sometimes from opposite ends of the spectrum. Ariella is coming from the chakra. I'm coming from an entrepreneurial perspective. Because I see the spirituality and entrepreneurism.
This is where we go this way.
But you'll see we'll come back.
Yeah.
There's a method to the madness. I've started 7 different startups. I'm passionate about entrepreneurism as a form of spirituality. And for me, when I read the Sefirot and everything we're talking about, the upper Sefirot is vision, and the lower Sefirot are execution. And vision, comes from beyond us. There's an idea, and it's born, and it's not mine. We think that the ideas are ours, the vision is ours. But what if it comes from a higher place? And then our role is to bring it down into this world. And that's the shift from the upper Sefirot, the upper attributes of God, to the lower attributes of God. And you shift down into it. And the one we're talking about, Netzach, is actually your right leg. And that's action. The word for leg in Hebrew, regel, is the same word for habit. Hergel. And so it's about habituation. It's about translating it into the small details, into the daily execution, the boring grind. But that's Netzach, right? And so getting to this place where, grand ideas and feelings and visions and all of that is wonderful. And it's a starting point. But how many visions die because they're not executed upon? And so bringing it down into the lower chakras, into this idea of execution from an entrepreneurial perspective, and personally into your life of habits, daily habits. I guess we'll wrap it up here pretty quick, but our son is succeeding in no small measure because of his habits. And he's obsessed with creating habits of success and just doing them day in and day out. And I've watched that he's taken this macro, I've got to fix myself and fix the world, and then breaking it down into repeatable, successful steps on a daily basis.
That's true. That's very true.
Here's a great quote to end with by Mary Ann Radmacher, author. Courage doesn't always roar. Sometimes courage is the quiet voice at the end of the day saying, I will try again tomorrow, and tomorrow, and tomorrow. And so with that, we'll transition into the rest of our service, and we would love for you to continue joining us, share your thoughts in the comments on the side so I can see who's with us. Susan, love the blend of the two, and love having you on, joining us. So we'll continue with, how about some healing?
Yeah. So as we head into the healing portion of our service, with this kavanah, this intention of Netzach, I'll read just a short reading by Rabbi Yael Levi about Netzach. And this has to do with the idea of healing, because really we all need healing. We are all in need, some is more extreme than others, but we are all in need of healing, to remember that we are whole, to find our place. So when we're going through difficult times, when we're going through pain and suffering and fear, here's an invitation to look at Netzach. In the face of difficulty, in the throes of fear and pain, what can we do? Netzach replies, lift your eyes and take the longest possible view. See beyond what you can know. Open your heart and love more. Love endures, the tradition teaches. Love is forever. It is no small task to continue to keep our eyes and hearts open and love in the face of all that is. Generosity, kindness, compassion, and care require constant devotion, determination, and strength. Eternity exists in the present moment, Netzach teaches. Everything that ever happened created this moment, and everything that will be flows forth from here. Love for the sake of this moment. Love for the sake of what will be. Act for love, and even if we don't see the changes we long for in our lifetime, we will leave a legacy of love for those who will call us ancestor.
Thanks, Amy. Thanks, Susan. Right, staying in the arena. Absolutely. I'll read something on that a little bit later on.
Which one? Susan plus.
That's us. That's our new member of Soul Centered Siri. She just joined us. We have like 5 Apple devices in here as an aside, and Siri goes off periodically. It's kind of freaky. I have to believe they're spirits. It's actually not Siri. But with that, we're going to continue.
Okay, here we go. I think it might be your dad.
Shelly, not Siri.
Because I felt him. I think your dad's here. Okay, we invite you to close your eyes and to think about your personal healing and sending love and light and healing and hope to those that are suffering now, that are in pain, that need our prayers. We invite you to put the names of the people that you're thinking of in the chat if you'd like, and to join us. The song by Shir Yaakov. Healer of the broken-hearted, binder of their wounds, counter of uncountable stars, you know where they are. Healer of the broken-hearted, binder of our wounds, counter of uncountable stars, you know who we are. Hallelujah, 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 hallelujah. Ana ena refanala. Ana ena refanala.
We'll send our love and our prayers out to George and Matilda and Todd Elverson and Milton and Martha Brenner, Steve Price, Ashley and Jared, Marv Pregelman. Any other names you want for us to share? Happy to share, but otherwise you know who they are.
Transitioning into our final prayer, Kaddish, and transitioning from those that are living to the souls that still surround us, but that their physical form have left us. And so we just invite you to close your eyes and to remember or to experience that they are present with us no matter where their physical form is. We need to just open our hearts and our vision and our mind to invite them in when we need them, when we want to feel them near, knowing that they are guiding us. And we're inviting you to place their names in the chat if you'd like us to read them, just to signify out loud, especially if you're going through a period of mourning, if you've just lost a loved one, or if you're in the first year of remembering a loved one. We invite you to place their names in the chat. Yikara ve'ikadash Shemei Rabbah Yishmer Rabba Mevorach Le'olam U'Olmei Almaya. May the one within and above bless us with your love. May the source of infinite light guide us in our life. May the one within and above bless us with your love. May the source of infinite light guide us in our life. Shalom, 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 shalom.
And I'll share a Buddhist healing blessing. It's both for those who you shared names of who are struggling here in this world, but also those who are on a journey to the world to come. Just as the soft rains fill the streams, pour into the rivers, and join together in the oceans, so may the power of every moment of your goodness flow forth to awaken and heal all beings, those here and now, those gone before, and those yet to come. By the power of every moment of your goodness, may your heart's wishes be soon fulfilled, as completely shining as the bright full moon, as magically as by a wish fulfilling gem. By the power of every moment of your goodness, may all dangers be averted and disease be gone. May no obstacle come across your way. May you enjoy fulfillment and a long life. For all in whose heart dwells respect, who follow the wisdom and compassion of the way, may your life prosper in your four blessings of old age: beauty, happiness, and strength. I'm going to pause on that idea, and then we're going to just share some thoughts about what we're doing. But it says, may you enjoy fulfillment and a long life for all in whose heart dwells respect, who follow the wisdom and compassion of the way. And in Buddhism, it's Dharma. In Christianity, I forgot where the verse is, but it's the way, and the way is Jesus. In Judaism, it's Halacha, the way. In Taoism, it's Tao, the way. They're all translated as way. And it's, I think really what Soul Centered is trying to do is just tap into all of those and borrow from each and every one of them the shared way, because they're the same way, right? They're different pathways to get to the one way. And I think that's really what we're all about here, and why we started Soul Centered, is to create a space where we didn't have to get into politics, and we didn't have to get into divides and, what the differences are. We're never going to sit here and talk about, us versus them. It's the way. And if we can borrow best practice from each of those ways, then we'll find our way. And so that's what we're doing very hard right now, trying to create different ways for people to connect, portals in. Really, as we see it, there are 3 or 4 pathways to find your way into Soul Centered. And I'll let Ariella talk about hers first, and then I'll share with you what I'm doing to offer people a pathway in.
So I offer spiritual midlife women a pathway to connect to their divine body wisdom, to help them heal physically, emotionally, and spiritually. And I was thinking about this morning. The way that I offer that is threefold. So we go into visualizations that are healing and elicit emotional response, because the pathway to soul, to wholeness, which is healing, is through the body and emotions, because that is why we're here. And I've been working with so many women, especially this week, that feel stuck in the emotions and in the body. And so we elicit that emotional response to get to the higher emanations, to get to our high self, our soul, to remember why we're here. And through that, I offer intuitive guidance, readings, and also energy work. But it's really threefold, because one alone one path alone doesn't give you the long lasting healing aspects of the soul. So I offer 3 pathways as a way to get into long lasting and life changing transformation. I'm offering this Monday night, 7 p.m. Mountain Time, is a free webinar, a Facebook Live, to discuss this idea of unleashing your soul, how to radically love your body and your emotions as a pathway to soul. So I invite you to explore that with me on Monday night, which will lead into a group for spiritual midlife women. It will lead into a group. It will meet 3 times. It's coming soon. So join me, and you can always email me at ariella@mysoulcenter.org to explore what that means on a deeper level. So a group will offer a private Facebook group where you will be supported and experience the support of others. It will offer teachings and visualizations, meditations, and energy work to further you along on this path of opening to your body as a pathway to soul. So many of us have abandoned our bodies, have experienced illness, tragedy, and loss, and somehow we've cut ourselves off. So this is an invitation to open to who you truly are, to remember who you are. In addition, both of us offer private consultations. We're offering 30-minute, I'm offering a 30-minute divine body wisdom consultation to see how we would work together privately as well as in a group.
So this passage to me sums up everything I'm always been doing and I'm currently doing. It's re-inspired Amy Pregelman, who reminded me of it, but I share it all the time, and I shared it frankly long before Brene Brown did, even though it's somehow become synonymous with her, and I think she's amazing, but it's not hers. It's actually Theodore Roosevelt's. It is not the critic who counts, not the man who points out how the strong man stumbles or where the doer of deeds could have done them better. The credit belongs to the man, the woman, the person who is actually in the arena, whose face is marred by dust and sweat and blood, who strives valiantly, who errs and comes up short again and again, because there is not effort without error and shortcomings, but who does actually strive to do the deed, who knows the great enthusiasm, the great devotion, who spends himself in a worthy cause, who at best knows in the end triumph of a high achievement, and at worst, if he fails, at least he fails while daring greatly, so that his place shall never be with those cold and timid souls who know neither victory nor defeat. And it's really that last line that I work with people, men and women, around not only daring greatly, but legacy. What's the legacy we're going to live? Because legacy isn't just about being dead, it's about being alive. And how do we consciously craft a legacy? Very few people are having this conversation. So I work with executives right now, a lot of business executives, getting them out of the framework that this is about business. It's never about business. It's not about money. It's not about profession. It is about legacy. What's the legacy you're building? That money is for your children, for your community, for the world. That business is for doing good and making an impact and inspiring those whom you lead. And so a lot of legacy executive coaching, a lot of legacy personal coaching, especially people after midlife. I don't do well with people before midlife because they don't really yet realize they're in the arena, and they don't yet realize that it's not about the doing of deeds. It's about daring greatly and picking yourself up again and again and again and moving forward. And that's what I help people do. Move forward again and again and again to craft a legacy that they're proud of, that they feel inspired by. And so working with clients in that way. I'm also starting a new course called Kabbalah, Soul, and Cinema, and taking key modern movies and watching them ahead of time and then getting on to Zoom virtual gatherings and to explore Kabbalistic ideas of the soul's journey, our calling, and our legacy. And so if you're interested in that, shoot me an email. You can just Google Rabbi B. You'll get our website. You can shoot me an email or rabbi@rabbib.com. And love to hear from you. So we have a lot of things going on. Check out the website. Thank you for tuning in to the Soul Experience. And we'll see you Monday night at Ariella's Love Unleashed event.
Okay. Last song.
Love is
all there is. Yai dai, yai dai 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 dai. Love. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. Love. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. Love is all there is. Yai, dai, 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 yai, dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Yai, dai, 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 dai. Join us in a few minutes for yoga, Shabbat yoga, where we will explore Netzach in our bodies. So we're just going to take a little break, and then you can come back on with us. Shabbat Shalom.